I smoke once in a while.
So we just watched the Sumé film. I found out I was saying it wrong the whole time, and it's Sumé. We're really, really super happy to have Hjalmar with us in Greenland, and I know that it's late for you, right? What time is it right now?
Oh yeah, Friday night it's so payday.
Oh, all right. So you'll be up late.
Well, I don't know that because there's a band. I'm not in my place. I'm trying. You know, July is different. You know, we are traveling around and fishing or whatever. Now I'm in another town where the rock and roll band's playing in 1 hour from now. So
Perfect.
I have to see them once a year and go dancing.
Beautiful, beautiful.
Yeah.
Perfect timing.
So before we jump into our discussion, we wanted to just open it in a good way. And Siqiñiq, did you want to say a few words just about our purpose here? And go ahead.
Yeah, Pagalipsi again. I'm super excited to see everyone and to meet you, Hjalmar. I hope I'm saying that correctly or not butchering it too much, but I'm the director with Sovereign Iñupiaq for Living Arctic, and I want to say thank you to Sara Siqiñiq. She coordinated all of this. She has been the lead on here, and it's just an amazing event. I had been introduced to this documentary a few months ago, maybe actually like 6 or 7 months ago, and I had no idea how powerful it was going to be. I was on a date. I didn't expect to cry at that date, and I just to feel the connection as young Inuit that and those who are connected to our communities, we have this care and love, but we don't necessarily know how to go about expressing that and how, in this world right now. So when I saw the film, I was like, oh my gosh, we've been resisting and, having revolutions forever. This isn't new. So I'm very excited and very inspired. And then of course, having band members from Pamyua, who I have watched my entire young adult life and have gone to concerts and other many Yupik artists that have spoken the Inuit language. And for me, I like to blast. I sing, you dance, Brian Nikolai, all the time, and it just makes my heart feel in rhythm. So with that said, I just appreciate all the artists and Sara Siqiñiq, who also does music with Iñupiaq and just bringing those values forward, and our elder here, Nutaaq. So yeah, we're gathered here. We're gathered here. We're coming here today to. I know I'm so official. I get a little nervous when we do these Friday at the end of the night, and but yeah, we're here. SImaeA is a small grassroots community effort that's growing into its own organization. Don't mind my kids yelling at each other. And we wanted to come to foster spaces that foster healthy community spaces. And so this is one way that we've tried to do that. Instead of coming into communities and saying what we need to do, as we've seen a lot of organizations do in the past, we wanted to bring what we've been shown and gifted and be able to put that out there and hopefully get people asking questions and having discussions like this. So yeah, that's kind of how we're opening the space. And I know earlier we had done a few words, but I just wanted to give a little bit of acknowledgement again to hard times in our communities. We've had some losses lately, and this is a big revolutionary time. These past 2 years have definitely been a lot. And this is the first film screening we've had since COVID. or at least in the last year. So we're really, really grateful, and that we, because of technology, can all be here today. I'm going to say the same gathering. And Nutaaq, I don't know if you wanted to say any words before we get started, but I would be grateful if you had anything you wanted to say.
This is my second time watching this film, and I'm in awe every time. And thank you so much, Hjalmar, for being here, for gracing this time. I've been an activist for, I don't know, 25, 30 years.
Oh, yeah.
And I support the young people doing this. Thank you so much.
You're so welcome.
Thank you.
So Hjalmar,
We're not.
so I don't know if you had any words that you want to share. I had a question that we had discussed before about the role of Sumé and music in Greenlandic activism. If you want to touch on that, or any other thing you want to share about this.
Oh, yeah. By purpose, I didn't write anything down, what you say, because it's an amazing period, and the film is amazing, I think, because it's reminding me so much. I'm turning 70 in December, and this film, what you saw, is about from 1971 up to 74. It's a long time ago, so long time ago, but the feeling is the same. The feeling is the same, and at that period, many things happened in Europe, because Greenland is part of Denmark and at the same time part of Europe. And at the same time, the European community are trying to get together as European Union. And at the same time, we were very young, yeah. 70, back in 73, 4, 1, I forgot to count down. So we were very young, but committed to think forward, fortunately, because we were not alone individually, but we were together. We talked about what the future we want. What do we want in the future? We have a country to develop, and but we have to be part of it in a way. So in regards this Sumé story, is that my friends thought the same. What do you call it in English? Sometimes I forget me. Things the same way that we don't want to be neglected. We want to be self-determined. We have to decide ourselves what our country should be and what our future we want as people. At that time, we were all maybe, that situation that we were all students in Copenhagen. Maybe you were students in Anchorage, you were a student in Washington, in Ottawa, Moscow, whatever. That's exactly the same, period. But we all were sending down south and should study and whatever. And we were actually in Copenhagen, in Denmark. We were studying around, and every weekend we have to meet each other and do partying. And if you think back to the 70s, besides beer, there's other things and stuff. So, but we managed to be together, be strong, and whatever we took inside our bodies, we were forwarding our thoughts and the things and stuff, and we had very good times. Imagine, So at that time, the political situation in the Arctic were going to be visible, because the first very meeting among indigenous Arctic peoples happened back in 1973 in Copenhagen, where Inuit from Alaska, Canada, Greenland, and some Indian from the subarctic areas were present as well, but not the Russian side because of the Soviet Union situation at that time and political, etc., etc. You know that. But at that conference back in 1977, Inuit met first time ever after the historical, development. I was a young guy at that time. I was runner at that time. I'm running around to get beer for the people, and get because doesn't even exist at that time, but something to eat and So, but I remember after that, took 5 years were about it. It was also that time I learned that we as Inuit, as Greenlanders in Greenland, are not alone. We realized that we have fellows in Alaska, Canada, in Russia, as Inuit as a whole, That was for me at that time was an amazing experience, an amazing history for my own thoughts, Oh, wow. I'm not alone in the world. And after that, I will go back to that later, and in Greenland, we were struggling for self-determination. We want ourselves to decide our own issues and stuff or whatever. We don't need anyone else outside to decide ourselves. But it was a activistic situation because the political situation, because we belong to Denmark, Kingdom of Denmark, part of the kingdom. But we want ourselves. And how do we do that? How do we get our own self-determination, and what can we do? We cannot take our guns because it's too our guns were not too fancy at that time. It's only a joke. Don't record that. So we decided to be active. We were active everywhere, I remember. So we decided to establish a summer convention called SImaeA, where we tried to connect the whole Greenland as every summer, used our money, our vacations to establish SImaeA as a cultural and political event every summer. So we did that. Actually, we did that over 20 years, I guess. Where were we, political presentations, whatever, what do we want our future to do? And the half part of it is to show our cultural values and stuff. And they ended up that and in these years we claimed Greenland to be independent. But we are still at the same path. But in 1979 we gained a home rule situation. And in 2009, we came self-government. And what's next? I don't know yet. But it doesn't mean that we don't have problems in our society, like all societies in Inuit land. In regards to get more self-determination doesn't mean we be heavenly happy, because there are still problems around. Suicide among your youth, drinking, drugs, and whatever. The same words every time. But we are being better. We're getting better and better and better. And I think the main question is that currently I'm president for Inuit Circumpolar Conference in Greenland. What I feel is that the best way we get together is involvement. Involvement from the children up to the youth and up to the elders. Respect. And not to hide anything. Be honest. Say what you want and be honest. And I think that's the issues we have to tell our youth. Also children, because children are not that bad. I have 3 grandsons. Sometimes I have to hide what to say because they are recognizing everything. So Okay, I stop here for a while.
Wow, thank you. One reason we were really excited about this film is because we've kind of, in trying to do work around these issues in the North Slope and in Alaska, we realized that we could just go in circles and in circles within the state and the federal processes. And we realized we really want to uplift ICC more and learn and engage with ICC more. So it's really great, Hjalmar, to hear your perspective and story. And we do have a few attendees from ICC Alaska, and I really thank you. They said hello to you, Hjalmar. I really thank you folks for joining. I guess,
Thank you.
anyone, yeah, did anyone have anything? I know Hjalmar, we were going to hop off so you could go to that rock concert. Did any of you other panelists have anything, or Siqiñiq have anything to follow?
I can join you half an hour, so no problem.
So is there, this is Nutaaq. I would love to see this on the big screen. And
What
have
the thing?
more people see this.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I would just love to share this.
I think, yeah, I've been driving around in Alaska and Canada and giving the tape to everyone I know, and it's so nice, and I'm so happy that it reached you guys, the tape, and one thing which could because that story couldn't, because it could be reflected by you guys, because I believe that almost the same story but in different ways, because we all are trying to get more self-determination, protection of a cultural language, and then political self-determination, and which is for Greenland, and because our next step is independence, but you never know when it happens with economic stuff, which I cannot think about right now, because it's not tomorrow, because we have to struggle further for and get, first of all, trying to get economical self-sufficiency. Also self-sufficiency in regards to the living resources. July, man, so much around. So July, June, July, everything growing, living, and meat, reindeer, chow, whatever. We have it in Inuit Nutaaq. We have everything. So my thought is that okay. Also, it's also very important for me to tell my grandsons that's therefore I have him around, because they have to see what's happening and experiencing themselves, catch a fish or picking berries, and if you lose that, we never win.
Amin. I was thinking the same thing, Nutaaq. It would be great to put this on the beach at Qacung and have a beach screening sometime. So many issues that with wind and whatnot, but it's really a beautiful scenery. The scenes in the film where you all are playing outside among the people, and that's just, yeah, beautiful. I wonder, Qacung, Pamyua is such an amazing band here in Alaska, and I wonder if, what, well, which comes first, the music or the activism for you? I guess I should say not just activism, but passion and the message. That's something I was kind of thinking of, just to throw that at you.
Mm.
Are you asking me?
Yeah, whoever wants to answer that. I mean,
I think I'm father to a child in Vietnam.
Mm.
I'm father to a child in another country as well. This is because I feel every time having a kind of international solidarity. That's at least what I can do internationally in regards to the differences between poor and rich. I think it's a different question because activism is coming from your heart. It's my activism period. I'm still active once in a while because sometimes I think I did my work for a long time ago, but I think it's important to teach the youth in regards to their own local, national, international knowledge. And the education is very important in that question. It's important to learn our youth and children basics in our culture and don't close it there. We have to learn our children and youth and what happens internationally, but because international issues are affecting us. Whaling in Alaska, whaling in Greenland, International Whaling Commission. They have a whaling commission, even have members like Switzerland without sea. Can you imagine that? I've been thinking about what fuck. Oh, sorry.
it's okay.
Can a country be a member of international whaling without sea, without coast?
Mm.
So now I forgot what to say, but activism is the basic. Activism is the start of future. Activism is the light in front.
Mm.
So my mind is that I'm trying to push my grandsons to. Sometimes I'm teaching them what they learn. Of course, I ask my youngest is turning 12 in August. and he will be very, very expensive because after 12 years, you will have full price an airplane ticket.
Mm-hmm. I know about that.
So what do you want to do? Blah, blah, blah. So what's your interest? Sometimes it's interesting in Wales. And he's looking at everything on Wales and Googling everything. And, you know, and after a week, he's interested in fancy planes. And, you know, looking at the Amazon and stuff. Grandpa, can you buy me this and that? And it's so funny because the whole world is open for them. But they have to also learn that the world is not that easy. Because the world is not our own community. Though our world is complicated. And what my hope is in regards to the activism and the youth people, I think they're open more and more in regards to plastic stuff disturbing our seas. We have a activist group in Greenland started for several years ago called Plastic Not So Fantastic, for example. You know, and my wish for my grandsons is that they be more, you know, activistic minded, because no one can stop you. No one can stop you. And do what you want, guys. Just think what you want and have your friends with you. And if you have problem, ask your grandpa.
You sound like an awesome grandpa. Hjalmar, man, so great to see you and to see the you now and the you back then, yeah, in the film. I think when I was kind of beginning of the film, I commented on the chat how it was so great to see a lot of the historical footage of even, you know, from Greenland and even in Copenhagen and all that. Yeah, it was really fun to see that, to see those.
Part of Pamyua, eh? You're part of Pamyua?
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, I've been
once in Nuuk, yeah?
Yeah, we've been to Nuuk, and I did the chat. We did a tour back in, I think, in 97 or 98, somewhere around that time.
Yeah.
Greenland, and from Ilulissat and Nasak, Nassasuaq, Qaqortoq.
Oh, wow. I'm in Nasak right now.
Oh, you're in Nasak. Oh, I love it.
There's a rock band playing in an hour from now.
Yeah, I
go there.
It was one of my most memorable. It is the most memorable tour that we ever had, and just seeing the beautiful country in Greenland, and it was a lot easier, our tour, I think, than you guys had. You know, jumping on all the different ways that you had to go around to the communities. You know, we were jumping on Greenland Air on the on the helicopters and the helipads. It was a lot easier for us, but it was still, you know, it was still a difficult tour because Greenland is such a vast and massive country, and all the communities so far apart. But it was so beautiful. I loved it so much. The film is amazing. I think what I love about the film is it shows how amazing you guys were as artists, and how you were telling the story of your vision and your dreams for Greenland at a time when it was really needed. And the film really portrayed that well, like just the poetry of Malik and everyone in the band, and
Yeah.
also the struggle that Greenland, was overcoming during those times. So I think, to me, the film was just an example of like what can be done when things are clicking in the right way, right? When all the pieces of the puzzle are there. And I feel like you guys were one piece of a puzzle for Greenland to move from being totally colonized by Greenland, to this first step of homeland rule government in '77, and then getting more of the independence of Greenland and independence. But I mean, the next step to me, that when you were saying what's the next step, is like changing the map completely, and Greenland being a fully independent nation state and your own complete country that is yours, and no one else is, not under Greenland, under anybody else. And I think that's an amazing dream, and of that I see, and a reality that can happen, because I've been seeing this strength that has happened in Greenland, and it's to me, I always talk about it when I'm traveling around and meeting people, about how much love that I have. Of course, we have Karina Muller that's in our band, who's very much a part of us. But it is such a place in my heart that's really, really precious and near and dear to me, and will always be for the rest of my life. And when I first watched Sumi some years ago, I watched it at the festival, Greenland Eyes, and I think I saw it. I think I was in Norway, in Oslo, and man, I was watching it in the audience with a group of Greenlanders, and it was so powerful. And so, congratulations, of course. I mean, on an amazing, amazing career, and how your band really changed the dynamics and the politics and the culture of your entire country. Beautiful.
Yeah, we still been invited to playing around, and most of us are grandpas. So,
We're catching up to you.
no, we have the inner. Some of us still have the inner. See, I'm still playing because I'm going to that rock show up. I think, yeah, in a little town here in Nassau, it's 2,000 inhabitants. That's the place where the uranium things are going on.
Yeah.
And I hope will be invited to play drums tonight. So I think recently we had an election here, and the majority of Finnish voters voted against the Asartia's materials mining
Mm-hmm.
like vanadium. And Nassau here is exactly the town where multinationals are trying to utilize and disturb and destroy the land. And we just said no to the majority, which resulted in changing the political situation. And this, I can recall back in where all the exploitation things were going on back in 60s, 70s. And I'm from a town, one town south from here. I'm in Nassau now, and helicopters are flying around, and people we don't know who are going and exploring us, exploring everything, even people, exploring the land, and not informing us what's up. And we are going to change that. We are very politically in changing that. Sorry, if pop situation. So hopefully, of course, things are going up and down, even though things are going okay, but I'm very hopeful for my grandson's future. I'm feeling these feelings in my heart, up and downs, are more like straight. So I'm a happy man.
Yes.
And I will go to the bar.
Skål! Skål!
You. One thing about music that's so inspiring, it does come from a place, even though like the music of Sumé is political, you know, and really hard truths in there. It's something you could still dance to. It inspires joy, and I'm sure, like you mentioned, it gives you a feeling of joy. And we're talking a lot about in organizing or in just our community work, just how to maintain that feeling of joy. And definitely just the arts and music is one way that I see us continuing to do our work in a good way. Nutaaq, I wanted to ask you, did you mentioned you had you heard of Sumé from Alaska when it was big in Greenland in the 70s?
No, I was not even aware of my surroundings back then. I didn't wake up until a little later, 80, I think, in the 80s. And so I'm new at this, pretty new. But I'm so excited about the film because, you know, that was going on while I was still dead up here and even in my heart. All that was going on. And it's so exciting. I was in Standing Rock in 2016. And to see the elders being the leaders, the real leaders there. And I think there was 5,000 in the camp at that when we went there. And to see such order and to see such reverence to the elders as the leaders was so powerful. It reminded me of how Qacung, my own village, was years ago. How peaceful it was. And for the people to say that while Standing Rock was just so big at the time, the young people were not committing suicide. They were all one. And I would just love to see that. I hope that I can see that in my time, that the young people don't have to be so hopeless that they decide to check out early. for them to have a purpose, for our native ways. I've gone from praying to the God of the white man to praying to my ancestors. And this is more powerful for me. I would like to see that because I've tried suicide myself many times in the past. Today, even as hopeless some days feel like, I know there's hope. I believe and I can see my ancestors when I look beyond the sea at the clouds. And I would so love to see the young people feel that. They too.
Thanks for sharing that, Nutaaq. Siqiñiq, go ahead.
I wanted to, a lot of things were brought up for me while you all three were speaking. And as a young Inuk, I didn't actually learn about the Inuit Nation until I was about 25. I went into treatment for alcoholism and drug addiction in 2016. I've been in recovery since, and that woke me up to, you know, the trauma that I had been. I was very ashamed of being Inuit. And then I also was very ashamed of being white. So I kind of really didn't like myself very much. And I felt like I was the worst of both parts and I never really fit in. And when I took Iñupiaq class in college, I got sober and I got to hear about Greenland. And it was the first time I had ever felt some type of hope. And that's really what was given to see in Greenland. Ronald Brower, who was my Ilisari, you know, he had talked to, he pumped me up for Greenland. And I, do you know? Yes, he loves Greenland. And he convinced me to move there. I had actually made plans. I was in the, I was talking to the Prime Minister for Education on an email. I was getting set up with UArctic. I was going to go do research down there. And then I started to get involved in community organizing. And we did a missing and murdered Indigenous women's rally. And I knew I couldn't just leave. And I needed to find that inspiration from Greenland to give back to the community that's given me so much. So I decided to stay. I don't regret it, but I do every time I see films of Greenland, I'm like, oh my gosh, I want to go there. And the statues of Sedna in Greenland, something that I didn't even hear of. I didn't know we had our sea mother, who I was able to get our tattoos for in recognition. And growing up, I didn't know about my Tavlagun, and then my aunt Nutaaq had taught me more about our heritage that was really silenced and covered up because of colonization. And so I just wanted to say that Greenland and the music and Nanoq, and I listened to Sumé before I'd seen the documentary over and over again, and Nanoq and all the Greenland bands I was obsessed with, and I was watching the plays, and I want to put that out there that there is hope, and that you've given us a lot of hope for something that I honestly couldn't even imagine. I didn't think we could revitalize our language. I was feeling very hopeless, and the lateral violence from some of the elders, or someone told me the elders from the communities that talk really down to youth that are having critical questions, that are starting to say, hey, what about our food, our health, our water, our ways of life? And we can really be put down, but to see elders here that are saying that we're not disrespectful, we're not doing this in a bad way, this is, it is possible, is just something I've been really inspired by. So I just wanted to put that out, and I don't know if that causes any thoughts or anyone wants to respond, but I'll go ahead and stop. So Qacung.
Siqiñiq.
I wonder, Hjalmar, did you all during the time when you were starting Sumi, did you have criticisms coming at you? It's apparent from the film that a lot of people were a little, the anxiety of some of these. Someone had said it made them, the messages made them feel some kind of way, like fear, a little. Did you have experienced some of that lateral violence, and how did you deal with that?
Oh yeah, what a question. The question is broad. I think that in a Western society where we are living in, even we are in Alaska, Greenland, or Alaska, there will always be difference. Also in political situations. You know it very well in Alaska for only some months ago. It's very different in the United States of America. And we've been following that in fear. But hopefully the situation is another, because the United States is going to be part of the world again, which I appreciate, which we are appreciating. If that didn't have happened, things would be very, very different. Oh, thanks God, thanks Buddha, that things changed. Also in regards to the whole world, in regards to us in Greenland, in regards to everywhere. In our small communities in Greenland, we are tribe. We also are different. We have 3-4 parties arguing against each other and stuff. It will be happening every time. But hopefully ending up in the one path to be more self-sufficient, to be more what do you call it, environmentally common, sustainability important, and what is important also is that when we are talking about the Arctic, the climate change have no border. We have to think holistically about the Arctic. That's what we are struggling for in the ICC, that the Arctic is our homeland. The air and water and land pollution, whatever is happening, is those stuff don't have any borders. Therefore, we have to be together. If we lose each other, the world will change. The Life ICC conference in Peru, we decided that ICC should work for that the Arctic be I have to find the right word. Peace zone in the world map. That there are be a peace area in the world map. How do you do that? You cannot do that from day to day. That's there where ICC is very important as international organization, NGO, Indigenous Peoples Organization. We have to be moved. We have to watch what's happening all over the world. We have to have people watching what's up, around, whatever. Otherwise, we will lose. That's the reason why I think Iñupiaq Council as an organization. Of course, we have governmental organization, that's good. But independent, not governmental organization is very important because we are free to talk. No one can blame us for anything because we are free. We are NGOs. We can say whatever we want and watch and look and be ready to say, fuck you, you're doing things wrong. Or good also. Also.
Yeah.
When things going good, we have to say good. Go ahead. But when things going wrong, we have to say stop, man. So it's good to be common. We are Inuit in Inuit Nunat, and we have to continue and continue and continue. So please tell your thoughts on that.
Yes.
Well, I am going to the bar and have a beer.
Kisuta.
Well, I think we can probably maybe close out here in a little in a minute. I just wanted to say I'm so grateful that we're able to, given that COVID is a real concern around the world right now, that we're still able to come together in any way from across the world, from across the Inuit Nunat. Well, I'm not there currently. I'm currently zooming in from Nimipu lands, Nez Perce in Idaho. And it's very apparent to me that this work, this nation uplifting of ICC is just so very important for the whole world. And we're really grateful to have you on, Hjalmar, to have you, Qacung and Nutaaq. Caroline was not able to make it, but she still sends her support, and we're really grateful for all of that. So we were thinking about, we're going to continue doing film. Maybe we'll show this film one more time while we have it, because it's just so inspiring.
You, Sara, and have a small closing remarks. That I think I'm so happy to be part of this event because it's not ICC, it's not whatever.
Yeah, we can say whatever we want.
Among other people could say whatever I want, and I think continue, and I will be happy to be part again. Whatever issues will be showing up, and Sara, you know where I'm at, where I am, my email, and you guys. So nice to see you tonight. Now I'm going to a rock concert.
Yes.
Hjalmar, have a good time. Kisuta Kuyanakfa, man. Hope I'll be able to. I'm so glad you guys are still rocking out and hitting the stage, and hopefully we'll be able to.
Even we are 70s, 80s, we will rock.
Yeah, hopefully we'll play the stage with you sometime.
Oh, yeah. Just invite.
Ooh,
Yeah.
Ut Karavik,
Oh,
Pamyua.
That's what I was just thinking about.
Yeah.
Bye-bye. I want to be with you still, but
Takus.
because
Takus.
All right. Thank you so much, Iñupiaq, for this. And you guys enjoy your evening. Your last day of July. Woo!
Good night.
yeah, July is difficult, but next time you have to choose September.
I
or
know.
April or
Yeah.
October.
That's true. We live and we learn. That's
But
true.
it's okay.
Yeah.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Takus.
Bye, everyone. Thank you so much.
Iñupiaq.
Iñupiaq.
Siqiñiq.
Yes. Okay.
Siqiñiq.
I guess I'll just press end then. Thank you guys so much for coming, for doing this.
Yes. Thank you, Nutaaq. So
Yeah.
nice to have you.